Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the current festivals that do not have relics. I'm just going over what I think they might be, and just when I think they'll release. Really, I just thought of doing this. I was just looking through festivals and just looking through characters in general, and just seeing who hasn't got a relic, and realised that there's 7 festivals that don't have relics. A few old ones like Tmeli, but also a few new ones as well. Who I'm not really sure what relics I say they would get, but I'm gonna try and give my opinion on what I think they'll get because of I don't know some problems they may have or some things you normally see with relics. But the first one and the oldest one, I'll be doing this in release order, so we'll be going from the oldest to the newest. Tmeli release 2021, start of 2021. No, start of 2022. He released. Which was kind of cool. He was a very broken character, and he still is very used today, especially for some demonic beasts, because of his ability to provide damage reduction that isn't race dependent, and he's got Amplify, which we all know is a broken skill. Same with Pierce. What relic do I think he'll get? Probably some sort of support relic. Melee at the moment, either a support and a selfish relic, because Melee himself is a very selfish but also very supporting character. He only provides buffs to himself, but he provides damage reduction to the whole team. So my thought is he'll probably end up getting a relic that'll be like, he can get an extra 5 buffs, but everyone else can also get... So he'll end up with 10 buffs, but everyone else can now get 5 buffs as well. Meaning that when they play single target skills, it sort of give everyone buffs, and he gets 10 buffs, everyone else has 5 buffs. Damage reduction is still the same, because 40% damage reduction is a lot, as it is. So I think Melee will be more of a supporting character. I think his relic will actually probably come out decently soon. If we look at, people like Bloody Ellie, who recently got her relic. But not even recently. It was somewhat recently, I can say. But, they are trying to get these people relics. I do think that he'll get it either after, maybe get it during the collab, for all we know. But I reckon before the end of this year, he'll definitely have a relic. I do think they're still going to give him... I doubt he's going to be meta breaking or in the meta or anything, but I do think he's going to be... His relic's going to be usable. It's still going to be good. And, if you're a whale or a YouTuber, you can definitely probably still use him for PvP just for, I don't know, some reminiscence or a video just on the relic, just to make it worth it. Next one we have is Infinity Merlin. So this Merlin came out last October before Shield Hero. Yeah, just came out before Shield Hero, I'm pretty sure. And this Merlin, she's very selfless, apart from the first bit of her passive, which is that she gains 7% all stats for the grey debuff of element that is applied on the field. It's not actually the red one. The red ones don't actually have to apply it, as long as the grey ones apply it, which they do anyway, because it's a grey debuff, so they apply no matter what. Of course, unless you're a demonic beast that has a specific immunity. For example, Nidhogg is immune to darkness, British dogs do as well. But yeah, overall, she's a very selfless and selfish character, looking at patterns with unknown relics, I think we're probably going to see either an all team a basic stat increase. I would like to see some sub-stat boosters for Unknown. Unknown is known for not really having... Unknown is not known. But Unknown is not known for having many sub-stat boosters, especially in the attack-related stats department. You do see a lot of defense-related stats. For example, you got Nanashi. Can't think of any others, but Nanashi is a good example. Is really the only one who really provides it, and it's not by passive, it's by his actual relic. So I would like to see maybe attack-related stat increase or something for Unknowns, because we do see a lot of basic stats, or if not, maybe some damage reduction. Unknowns don't really have the most damage reduction. The only damage reduction I can really think of is, once again, Nanashi's relic, and again has damage reduction for herself, 35% or 15% or whatever it is, but that's only for herself. I would like to see some damage reduction for... Unknowns, is I think they're the only race that doesn't have a sort of damage reduction. You've got for demons, you've got Tmeli. For Sins, you've got Diane. Catastrophes don't have any. Goddesses have Mael. Unknowns don't have anyone. Giants have Diane. So yeah, there's a lot of humans have Barn. There's a lot of damage reductions, and Unknowns don't really have many whole team, apart from Shuna, but Shuna isn't the best, and I do think Merlin might actually be pretty good with it. For example, they could just take a sort of a leaf out of Freya's relic, which is for every Unknown or Ragnarok on the field, they get 5% damage increase and 5% damage reduction. So actually, that's exactly what Margaret's relic is. Margaret's relic is for every Archangel on the field, I think it's either your whole team or just Margaret gets 5% damage increase and 5% damage reduction. which is, I think, would fit pretty well on this Merlin, because she is more of a support. Yes, she can be a DPS, especially if you start stacking up lots of element stacks. You can start dealing a lot of damage, especially with gold steals, and if you have her ultimate, she can also hit pretty hard as well. I run HP defense on Merlin. Anyway, on to the next character. Escanor. I don't think Escanor's going to get a relic for probably quite a while. He's still a very good character. Has very good like substats. Even for like nowadays when there's LRs, he can still get there because his passive does give him an extra 20% all stats, which is good. It does give him, 153% crit chance plus Merlin Link. You're looking at 172. Insane, I know, but of course it only lasts for one turn. So I think his relic could be as more of a team, but also selfish. Maybe, pardon me. He keeps his Holy Flame, which will keep him 20% all stats because it only lasts 5 turns. And, so every time he uses a skill, everyone on his team gets the damage increase. I do think that would be good. Maybe cap it up to 2 times, because 60% for Escanor is good enough as it is. I think 30% for your whole team could also be pretty nice. But I don't see this man getting a relic for quite a long time, because he is not that old. He's coming up to a year in November. But he's still very usable, You can see him in the meta, you see him in the back. His Holy Flame, which is from his ultimate, or Final Flame, sorry, is very broken. And I still see him being like Traitor Tmeli and not getting a relic for a long time. So like LV as well. Didn't get a relic for a long time until he got an LR. But the other one won't get an LR. Purgatory Tmeli. I do think Purgatory Tmeli will probably end up getting more of a supportive passive. Tmeli is very selfish when it comes to his passive. He's the only one who gets the attack related stats. Yes, he does provide 20% damage reduction, but he's the only one that gets the damage increase when attacking a debuff enemy, and he's the only one that gets the 50% attack related stats. So I think they might just say the damage increase. Everyone in the team gets the damage increase from debuffed and stance characters. Who's a demon on the field, a demon or a sin. Let's just say that, and then everyone on the team also can also get what's it called? True magic, but instead of it being 50% like what Tmeli has, it's like 10% or 20% attack related stats. Just to sort of even out a little bit, demons do have a lot of the attack related stats or sub-stat boosting. Blue Omnis Nebular Zeldris is a big thing for that. You've got Cusack, you've got Pierce Rate for Chandler, you've got all these other characters that provide attack related stats, stop stats. And I do think Tmeli as relic will probably end up being more of a supporting one. Tmeli is also very good. I don't see him getting a relic for maybe till the end of next year, maybe mid next year, pushing the boat out, because Tmeli is still very good. He's still very broken. He's still very meta prevalent, mainly because of demons. Demons fluctuate in the meta depending on who's probably the most broken. When a new demon comes out, you've got Tmeli and Esterosa, who of course take the stand. Esterosa is now a staple of all demon teams because of encroachment. So I don't think he's going to get a relic for a while, but you never know with Netmarble. Freya got a relic like a month after her release, so you never know. Mr. Mael, or how I like to refer to him now, as the Nidhogg character. Because goddesses were good, but as of recent, they've now made another goddess character, and instead of buffing goddesses, they just buff goddesses on Nidhogg. And Tristan, instead of giving him goddess or goddess demon race, which is what he really should have got, they just gave him unknown, which really hit hard to goddesses, even harder than recently. And if you think about it, before Mael's launch, the best character, or the most recent character that was good for goddesses, was Bloody Ellie. And she had her own meta. That didn't last that long, but she was very irritating. And she was still very irritating to this day. I do feel like he's going to get Demonic Beast Relic, maybe even decently soon. Mainly because Nidhogg, it's easier. Yes, Margaret may be this Demonic Beast specialist, like what the game says. She is the Demonic Beast, the Nidhogg specialist. Which is what it says if you look underneath her banner. Never read that stuff before, but that's what it says. And I think that Mael might play a part in the team, maybe, I don't know, removing debuffs or providing whole team immune. I think he could. His passive is very selfish when it comes to his passive, when it comes to boosting stats, and then the damage dealt. The damage reduction is good. I think the immune to stat decrease in PvP should be more in PvE as well. Mainly, I'm saying this because of Extort. Extort itself is a very broken skill. I think that's something Netmarble really needs to look at, is that Demonic Beasts, especially one like Nidhogg, does not need X-Store. It's already got like 2.5 million HP. You know, you're using all these characters that provide you these basic stats, and the fact that when you use X-Store, it gets a chunk. It doesn't get a chunk of just your base stats. It gets a chunk of even the stats that you've had added onto your base stats that you have, to a point where everyone on your team's got like 500k HP. He's taking like, let's say 20% plus from everyone on your team, attack and defense. He's able to pop 400k on a level 1 skill. It's absurd. And I do think that Mael should be like immune to X-Store or something along the lines of that. Yes, that would make Margaret's cleanse a little bit more obsolete, but you've got Liz, which is still literally needed. She's still needed on that team. The Goddess team does not exist without that Liz, green Liz. All characters as old as the game itself, because there's no other goddesses that have the ability to remove buffs. Funny. But yeah, I think he might get one decently soon. I would like to see him get a Nidhogg one. I don't think he'll end up getting like a... He might get like a... No. He'll probably end up just getting a Nidhogg one now I think about it. I was going to like be, oh, maybe he'll get one that works for both, but I realize he probably won't. You're probably going to want like Extort immunity, stat lower immunity, because, yeah. Escanor does well. He's got stat immunity, stat decrease immunity pretty much everywhere, which is nice. It's actually nice to have. I do think that Mael should be given that for at least PvE as well, because Nidhogg is like... Netmarble made a problem. They made a slight solution, but didn't make a full solution. I think adding this Mael, you know, just accept that he's a Nidhogg character already. Just give him a Nidhogg relic. Barn. So Barn is very recent, but I still do think that we could see a relic for him decent. Not gonna say decently soon, again, but maybe end of this year, mid next year. Mainly because, well, actually it depends on the meta, but we're getting to the point in the year now where we're going to get an unknown festival at some point, probably a Gotha. We might end up getting a Dian maybe in November, then of course another Melee in December, start of January, because it's New Year and that's what they do. But I do feel like Barn could probably get one that increases single target damage of your entire team. Recently we got a tier that does the exact same thing. I do think that Barn could be a good one for that, because you've got people like let's just say he increases Sins and humans allies damage dealt by X% per ally on the field of that race or characteristic or whatever it needs, right? I think that could be a good thing, because Barn not only does he have 2 single target skills, you've got the ultimate one that has a single target skill, you've got Elar Lost Vein Melee, you've got Dian. I know Dian isn't really a DPS, but she still could be useful, and you've got all these other characters they could add Sins-wise that could have single target skills, and I think that Barn, who excels in single target skills, should really have a, you know, a little bit more selfless passive. His passive itself is very selfless. It's very selfless. It's more like, you know, he's providing HP, he's providing HP stats, providing damage reduction, or lowering the enemy stats some more. I do think that he does deserve a little bit more care on himself, mainly just, you know, just increase single target damage, because he does need it, because, you know, demons have a lot of attack lower, and when Barn's attack lowered quite a bit, even with his passive, even with his like his ultimate stat thing, if you're not 6/6, it can still be a slight trouble sometimes. I do run HP defense. I also do have an attack set for Barn. He's not UR'd, but I do have an attack set. But I do think Barn might end up getting one, because Barn he got buffed the first time, and even the buff wasn't the best. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah. Demon King. Demon King is, of course, the most recent festival, and his banner's still out right now. What relic could he possibly get? I think he's going to get more of a selfless relic. Maybe something to do with the attack-related stat boost. Maybe, I don't know, it's like 5% per demon ally. Like the demon allies get 5% per demon ally alive, or something like that. And of course, their cards don't get ranked up, but something a little bit more selfless, as his passive is just the best thing you get is the 20% damage reduction. Apart from that, they don't actually get anything. He just gets everything from it. But I think Demon King is probably one that's kind of hard to say what relic he should get, because he's a very good character overall. Like, Demonic Beast, he doesn't excel very well, but only a small, like, circle of characters really excel in Demonic Beast and PvP at the same time. And most of those characters are like the ultimate one. Tmeli was very good. Mael was decent on his release until they just didn't add any goddesses. But I do think that I do feel like Demon King's Relic is just gonna. Well, of course, it won't be for a very long time. but I do think it'll probably be something a little bit more selfless. Or like Esteros'. Esteros' relic was very selfless. It was like, oh yeah, whenever someone in encroachment dies, everyone in the enemy team loses 1 orc each. It doesn't sound like a lot on paper, but when you actually use it in actuality, it's very big, and you don't realize how impactful it truly is. I thought it's mid, but I still made it because I thought it was cool and I could make a video on it, so why not? And I realized how impactful it is and how actually really powerful it is. The ability to, remove Alt Gauge, for example, if you go first, you get 3 stacks of encroachment, or 3 stacks of darkness, sorry, on Diane. They have the ultimate one. The ultimate one pushes ultimate. He's got his ult next turn. You just kill Diane when she's got encroachment. And there you go. The ultimate one doesn't have an ult anymore. Of course, unless they merge, which is most likely going to happen. But, that's really it. And I thought I'll just make a video going over the current 7 festivals that do not have a relic in the game. Everyone else does have a relic. Of course, Liz being the most recent, LR Tmeli, decently recent, but yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.